So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
Hey, I'm Nick.
I'm Lucas, and we are dog training.
We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. So what inspired you guys to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
So I had like a college project for basically like a music production class, and Lucas helped me work on it, and that was the first EP we made called Apartments. And from there, we started the band, and we came up with the name Dog Trainer. We had a band before that called Therapy Dog with our friends Evan and Melissa, and we kind of liked that, like the dog-centric kind of name. So we
it's not super deep. Yeah, it's not super deep. It's funny too because that name, we were into a lot of like bands, like indie bands, like Soccer Mommy, and it was kind of, those names were sort of like a thing for a little bit, and now it's kind of funny because we're making a little bit more pop leaning-ish stuff.
Yeah,
we're still called Dog Trainer, but I love it. It's our vibe.
Following a couple different themes here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So congratulations on your newest release, Scrolling to Feel Better, Part 1. How do you feel the response to it so far?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been like I feel like we had low expectations for the release, honestly. I mean, I feel like we talk a lot about it on both parts of the album, like our experiences in the music industry. So we weren't like expecting anything crazy, but we've had a lot of like growth, and people have really liked the music, so it's been cool.
Hell yeah.
It was definitely like there were some very pleasant surprises in terms of like getting on Spotify editorial stuff throughout the process, etc., and just like obviously people messaging us and whatever. It's as Nick's kind of pointing to, it's kind of terrifying releasing music in a way when you're an independent artist without a ton of backing, because it's like you're really just throwing it out there in the world and it's really praying that it sticks in some way. And I think it's found a little niche, but I think it'll take a little time. Like that's how it's been with our other albums, sort of, that it takes a little time to get the ball rolling, but there has been plenty of like positive stuff to honestly make us feel like it probably overall will help the cause. So yeah,
and I mean, as long as people hear it, even if it's when it comes out or 6 months or a year later, at least people are hearing it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to assume that there's a part 2 on the way at some point.
Very soon.
So this
hopefully,
year,
hopefully by the end of the summer we're starting to put it out.
Okay, that's soon. Right.
It's pretty much done. Actually, we're just being really lazy about like listening to the final versions of everything, and okay, otherwise it's done.
All right, putting out a lot of music this year. So is there any meaning behind the album name or the cover art?
Like the first song in the Part 1 is called Dumb Paranoia. It's kind of about like all the anxiety, a lot of like anxiety you might feel before you're like going to bed, like maybe a little too high. And there's a line in there that's like, I'm scrolling to feel better, and that's where the name of the album comes from. So it's kind of like I think it wraps up a lot of like the themes from the album, kind of like, thinking about like anxiety and thinking about things that are very relevant to our own lives and our experiences as like artists and just people. And what was the other half of the question?
Well, I was gonna say mixed with sort of like that, technology aspect of like trying to fill that anxious, whatever it is, depressed void with technology, and obviously how much that doesn't actually help. And so it's like that line, actually the full line is like, scrolling to feel better, keep on scrolling to feel better. It isn't getting better, because of course it's not getting better. You don't feel better from like seeing a bunch of people post their best lives on Instagram or whatever it is. And just like, so that was kind of the feeling of it. Is the other reference on that was there was 2 albums we loved last year, and one was Lauv, and it was called How I'm Feeling Now.
So true. Yep.
And the other one was Charlie XCX, also called How I'm Feeling Now. Or is it How I'm Feeling Today? I think it's Now, but
it's one of those. We
loved both those albums. So like they were some of the music we were most in love with coming into this. Very different albums, obviously, and so it kind of felt like it was in that zone too of like, how I'm feeling today, or
right.
And then the cover art, is there any meaning behind that?
It's kind of like uh, we wanted to make it like super personal. Kind of the music is like that. So like we have like my handwriting on it, which is like actually we did that for apartments also, but it's like very personal. And then like the collage, it's a lot of images from all of the music videos that we made, and like the visualizer that we have. I think it like to me at least it feels like very nostalgic, and there's like a lot of like different like fleeting moments, and that also kind of is an element of the album, just like that, like it's a little bit like existential, and a little bit and very nostalgic. So
yeah, and super like honest. Those are not like all you and I looking amazing in every shot.
Oh, we were definitely calculated. We definitely were like, all right.
It's not like perfectly lit, like beautifully taken 4K, whatever. It's like a bunch of like crappy VHS of us just like living our lives. And yeah, that was kind of the feeling with this whole thing was like instead of trying to aim for something like perfect and commercial and all this stuff, it was like let's just do exactly what we want to do, because we've tried doing commercial things with another project we had, and it like didn't feel right, it didn't work right, and like we wanted to just get back to like the complete opposite of that, which was like transparency and just like authenticity. And then for us that meant kind of like DIY nostalgia, which is like our go-to aesthetic that we both love.
So I wanted to ask, like, was this your like quarantine project? Because some of the projects you brought up came out either during that or like right before it.
Yeah, pretty much. We started working on it like March, more like April, like a year ago, basically. So yeah,
all right.
I would say so. I don't know if I like think of it that way, but it like is.
It was made during that time. Okay.
Yeah,
there were some serious like quarantine elements of like we started it separate, which we never do. But the other side of it that didn't make it feel super quarantiney is like Nick and I make music together every day. So it's just a continuation of that. Like before quarantine, we were working on music, and then quarantine hit and we're still working on music. So it's like all of this music was created during quarantine, but it's like the same thing. We just make music all the time,
All right.
Hang out to do that. Yeah.
that's
We
fair.
don't have a ton of social lives anyways normally, so
Me too. It's fine.
it's the same on that end too, so it's not too different.
Listen, that's why
That's
that's
fair.
why we started a podcast, because you don't go outside.
yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for this record?
Yeah,
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. So oh god.
Oh, who's calling?
So oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So sorry about that. The
Oh, good.
writing process for this one was we started just the instrumentals before writing any lyrics or having any like lyric concepts, because we really wanted to be in the same room. Oh my god.
Are you sure it isn't important?
I don't know. It is my girlfriend, but we just had a nice 4-year anniversary, so I don't think anything too serious is going down.
Yeah.
But so yeah, normally we write the songs sort of before the production, or it's like a little bit at the same time. Like we'll get the basic production and then. But in this case, we were separate, and we really wanted to be in the same room to write the like lyrics and melodies, because you really want that like feeling of being in the same room, bouncing off all the ideas, like that instantaneous kind of ability to like sing it over the track at the same time together, and all those kind of things that we're used to.
Yeah.
So we kind of just had like 3 months where I was in Vermont, he was in New York, to just make instrumentals, and we made like 43 full-length songs.
What?
Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, etc.
Yeah.
Like perfectly made, full produced, like all you needed to do was record vocals over them. And then we got together for 3 months and wrote pretty much a song or half a song a day for like, and we're recording them sort of as we went. So we'd write a song and then write another song. And then the first of those songs, we'd record the vocal on the third day. So it's like, it was this kind of like cyclical thing where we'd be writing songs and then recording them a couple of days after, just so that Nick like could have a couple days singing them. But yeah, it was crazy. So we wrote 21 songs, which is the 2 albums, the first 11 of which are out in about like 2 months, and then finished recording them after about 2.5, and then spent the last 2 weeks recording like 9 of these like super DIY music videos. So Yeah. It was definitely very hectic, but last thing I'll say is like, it was a classic way we make an album though, in the same way, which is like, we always go super hard and our lives just completely suffer. So I told this story on another podcast, but the first album, like the biggest example of this is the first album, Nick got this thing called trench mouth, which is like a gum disease people got from malnutrition during World War I. So like, that's how crazy, like I lost 10 pounds making this album.
Oh
like,
my God.
So we just go super nuts on it. But yeah, so it was a little different than normal, but at the same time had that same like crazy energy that we always get into during these. Oh my God, she's calling in.
Is that work ethic safe?
Yeah.
No.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's terrible. Yeah. It's a complete mess. But this time was like arguably the most healthy, but I still lost like 10 pounds. Yeah.
God damn.
Well,
All right. Well, stay safe next time you guys record a record.
Yeah, that was a long answer, but yeah.
All right. So where's your headspace at while you guys are writing this?
Great question.
I think, well, we were with the beats themselves. I think we were just having a lot of fun with it. Like we would like, I think when you make like 40 beats or whatever, like you do get sort of like burnt out a little bit, like you lose steam. It's hard to come up with that many ideas. So we did start to like challenge each other. Like I would say like, Lucas, you should try making a trap beat, or like you should try making, or like he would tell me like try and make like a Moomba beat, which is, you know, like how would you describe that? It's like kind of like,
it's a mix of the Roomba rhythm and modern pop production, I guess. I don't know what that is.
sure, yeah.
That's some genre. That's like that classic DJ Snake genre, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So like things like that. And then we got into songwriting. I think we we're both really excited to like write over the songs. I feel like we were in kind of a positive headspace, but we had a lot of like built up like emotional, like not baggage, but like just like thoughts, like a lot of ideas and thoughts from like the previous years of like making music, being an artist. Also, like there's some really positive things in the album, like relationships, positive relationships and stuff. So we had all these things that I think we wanted to talk about. And we talked about this in other podcasts, but like, you know, we had another project where we were kind of writing like lyrically, the lyrics were mostly more like removed from us as people. Like it was like we'd be writing songs about a character, or like very metaphorical songs where it's like more about like the songwriting and less about like our experiences. So I think when we got into this album, we really wanted to like talk about our own experiences. And that was kind of like the mindset going into it. It was like, it's gonna, like the songwriting is gonna be kind of literal. It's not gonna be so metaphorical. It's not gonna be about other people. You know, it's not even gonna be like, we had a discussion about this early on. Like, it's not even gonna be about our previous selves. Like, it's not gonna be about like me, because we're gonna have a line like, can't wait to meet your parents, about like your girlfriend. Was like, I've met, you know, my significant other's parents like 10 times. Like, so we're not gonna have that line. You know, because we want it to be like present and like very relevant to our current selves, or like, you know. So yeah, that was my mindset.
Yeah, and it's funny because our current lives are not like super interesting, but that's what I think is kind of cool about it, is it's super like regular as like the actual lyrics are just some normal life stuff, but like obviously a little bit more dramatic, but it's kind of like a beautiful celebration of like just kind of being that weird uncertainty you have kind of in your 20s and late-ish 20s for us, I guess mid-20s, that it's kind of, the headspace was sort of like doing justice to all the awesome things we've dealt with, but also like doing justice to that feeling of uncertainty and that all the pressures of like that you've put upon yourself and all these things. So yeah, I mean, we were kind of having fun with it, but also like it was very the headspace was super kind of like hippie circle, like emotional, like cross-legged, almost like, you know, because it was just Nick and I talking about pretty much since every single lyric on the album is true, it was like we had to dig pretty deep into each other's like personal lives and mental. I mean, we're like best friends, but there's still things that you don't like really want to talk about or whatever. So it was kind of like, it was almost like sitting on the couch going to the psychologist or whatever. It's just like chatting with each other about all these various things so the headspace is very like reflective for sure in all the lyrics. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay. I can't imagine just being like that vulnerable and just putting it out there.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh, that's valid. All right. So while going through the record, what band or artist influences pop out the most to you?
It was a lot, like, because we were trying to like embrace music from like earlier on that we were really into and we were into in the present. So it was like going back to like, you know, like there's like beach house influences on the album, but that's not like a direct influence on the album, you know, like whereas like the direct things felt kind of like that, like Lauv and like kind honestly like the Chainsmokers. But like these are things that like were influences to us like all the way through up until that point. So it wasn't like at that very moment, like all of a sudden we were listening to the Chainsmokers or something. It's like we had like, you know, been like digesting that music for a second. So there's a ton of stuff. Like Laney was something we were both really into.
Weirdly, Black Bear at that time.
Bear, yeah.
Black Bear. Okay.
Minus some of the misogyny in his lyrics, but his flow was like his flow is just a good time. Like the way so there's like little rap sections that are influenced by that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Black Bear. Yeah.
Like Nick's pointing to, like sort of, we have all these influences we can point to, like with the title being Lauv and Charlie, but like with this album was like the least intentional in terms of that stuff, and it was the most like, let's just make this, like let's just do whatever we want, and like if it doesn't have to be like the most zeitgeisty thing possible or like whatever it is, like let's just make whatever and like just go with it, because we spent so much time like trying to fit in a box. We spent like the previous year trying to fit in a box and like create this very palatable music, and this time we're like, all right, let's just like leave all that at the door. But we still brought in like it's such a weird album, and there's a lot of different styles on there, and you'll hear in part 2 like it gets even more like rock on certain ones, or like it gets like, or like it gets kind of glistening pop at certain times. So there's a lot of different things on there. I wouldn't say it's like the most consistent album, but what ties it all together is like sort of like the lyric writing and the place that all the music is coming from is like identical. Again, every single song is like literally the exact perspective we had in that moment. So it's like a little time capsule, just like the album cover is a little time capsule of that summer too. So
definitely.
Perfect.
That's so
also,
cool.
Yeah, for anyone listening, when there was that strange pause earlier, I've been living with my parents for past year, which has been pretty wild. And my dad came in and looked pretty confused as to what was going on. So
it's all good.
All good. So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more and no less. Both you have to do it.
Ooh.
Okay. 3 words, or like should it be like a mini sentence, or just like 3 words?
3 words, Nick.
Just 3 words. Describe
3
it.
words.
And you get to go first.
Oh wow.
Introspective. Nostalgic. And oh god,
you're close.
Introspective, nostalgic, and inspired. I would say it feels like I felt like it was an inspired album.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Now I wish I had gone first.
Now it's your turn, Lucas.
Yeah.
Intimate, emotional pop.
All right.
Oh wow.
That's great. Those are great.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my description of the album.
So, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
Every song's a little different in a way, but yeah, I mean, Nick was pointing to like, there's a serious sense of like nostalgia and like the warmth of that, I think. But yeah, if anything, it would be like, I feel like the lyrics are so reflective of our lives that if there's anything you want someone to feel, it'd be like seeing a little bit of themselves in that, in a lot of the very real things we say. Because I think some of the things we say, like we'll give the most specific example, like, did I spend too much money on that weekend down in Florida? You know,
Yeah.
but it's like, or like, did I sing out of tune on that show in December? Whatever it was, like, am I gonna hate this tattoo when I'm 45 applying for a job I never wanted in the suburb where I grew up? It's like there's all these lines that are so specific, and like whether it's that thing literally relates to you, I just feel like the whole point of it kind of is like, maybe it's not that exact thought, but everyone kind of feels these little things of like, yeah, that I think, yeah, it's like there's not one through line, but in each lyric, I think there's something that someone could find in their own life, you know. So, and the lyric concepts as well, like not just the specific ones, but yeah. Nick, I don't know.
No, that is true. Yeah, totally. I agree.
All right.
Ditto.
So as we established early on, there's a part 2 to this first record. What can you tell us about it? You guys have been dropping some hints, but let's all lay it out.
It's like, so we made it at the same time. It's not like a separate thing that we made. It's like we had 21 songs, and then we were like, this is way too many. So we divided them up. And the second half is a little different. Like, I don't think it was even intentional, like in the way that it's different, but I think that like conceptually it's a little bit more like playful. Like it's almost like we were like, oh, we want to put the best songs in the first half. Like I think we might have been thinking kind of like that, but then like coming out of it, it's not like that at all. Like maybe like the second half better, but it's like the second half is like, because of that, like maybe the topics in the first half were like things that we really felt were very important, and then on the second half they're like a little bit more like silly, not like actually silly, but there's like a lot of stuff on there that's like we have a song about like daydreaming while you're working, about like becoming best friends with an alien.
Oh yeah, okay.
We have like
getting in fights with your best friend, or like
we have it's kind of like a little bit crazy.
There's a song called "Fuck My Friends," which is about when you haven't seen your friends. I mean, you haven't seen your like partner, whatever, for X amount of days because there's a birthday party or someone's in town or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And which is weird to me because it's not super pandemic relevant.
No, not pandemic relevant at all.
No.
That one could not have come out on the first one. But then the chorus is like, F my friends, I don't care if I see them again. So I'll pretend that that I'm doing work or we're just going out, you know. So there's a lot of like, it's a much lighter kind of topics on that one. But there's some, I mean, I don't know.
There's some serious, we have like a really serious one called Thank You for Listening on there. That's like about like our music careers. That is like dark as hell.
Oh.
we you know, it's all over the place for sure.
Yeah, the chorus of that one is Nick like Billie Eilish style whispering, I won't get my hopes up.
It's the second half is it's cool. I like it, you know.
It has some of the crazier ones. The other thing, the way we structured is like, since we were coming like back to Dog Train, we wanted to make sure there was a transition between the older stuff and the newer stuff. So we made sure to keep more of the acoustic-y, like more intimate feeling songs on the first half, even though there's still some other ones. And then the second half is much more like, there's more polished songs and there's bigger songs. So it feels more pop leaning than the first half, but I love them both. It's all one, but it does feel like two albums now for sure. Like I have a very different relationship with both at this point, just because, we worked on them, we made them at the same time, but I've been mixing them since. So like I've had another like 4 months of relationship with this music, listening to it every day. Then I had the first one, which I just like quickly got together once we finished it, because we wanted to get the song 2019 out before 2021. Well, which would make sense if you run the song, but so it definitely feels different, and I'm very excited. The whole release process is a crazy thing as an independent artist, so it's definitely a bit terrifying to like just jump right back into it and like spend all our money and all that kind of stuff. But I love that album too. So if anyone is listening, and follow us and wait for album 2 as well, it's gonna be great.
I thought you were gonna say, if anyone's listening that happens to have a label, please sign us.
Oh yeah,
that too.
That too. We've spoken to a lot of labels, and it's been there's actually a song about that on the second album, which we'll leave it there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So where do you guys see the band in the next 5 years?
It's hard to say. I mean, we're kind of just taking it like album by album. Right now, it's like just figuring out really just like the second album, like where we end up when we put that out. And I don't know. I'm not personally looking that far ahead.
That's fair.
Ideally, like there's a lot of places I can imagine the music fitting in the music scene right now. like especially headed towards like that, the Jeremy Zucker kind of Lauv scene. Except we're probably a little bit more alternative indie than that stuff. And so it'd be really cool to like be in that kind of zone. I think the way we're looking at everything is like we just want to grow, and like we're not expecting like I think again on the second album, now I keep quoting these lyrics, but there's a line that's like, I used to think it would happen overnight to me and I'd be one of those people, but now I know that's not me, or whatever. Those stories aren't about me. And that's kind of how we feel. It's like, I don't feel like it's going to be like some meteoric thing. I think it's just going to be like this. Like we actually are currently at 4 times our audience than when we started releasing this album. Cool. But you know, obviously some of that will dissipate as you get further away from the release and et cetera, but it's like, right, we started very small at 8,000 monthly listeners and we're at like 40 right now.
Yeah,
you know, so you just kind of have to take it all and like try and be as positive as it can be. Like, it's again, there's some pessimistic things in there, and like there was a period where like Nick and I were just feeling a little down, and then I realized that like the way I was speaking about things so pessimistically was probably affecting Nick and why he was feeling a little bad, and then it made me think, wow, it's actually making me feel bad the way I'm talking about this stuff. And so the way I just look at it all now is like, there's honestly, I think this album's been a big victory, and like we'll just take the little steps as they come. Like we have the dream that we'd like to go to, but like we're not expecting it to come overnight. And so you don't want to be like, oh, why didn't it just happen? Why am I not just famous now? It's like, instead be like, okay, we actually grew like 4 times a small number, right? But 4 times that is like, you know, that's a big victory for us. So we're kind of just, staying positive with it.
Give yourself some credit.
So for the last couple questions, we're actually shift away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh.
I'm gonna go with. What are you gonna do, Lucas?
Yeah, put Lucas on the spot. He did it to you already.
My drink would definitely be a vanilla milkshake with Haagen-Dazs vanilla. I don't know if that's a drink, but you know, my meal, it depends. If I'm like completely sober, then I guess I would want some fancy stuff. But if I'm like really like, you know, a little bit THC in the bloodstream, then it's like just like some Cheetos. Like I've never tasted anything better than like a frozen grape while being a little bit, faded, one might say. But then on the other side of it, it's like, maybe just some teriyaki chicken. That's my go-to. I eat teriyaki chicken every day. It's like I'm probably 1% teriyaki chicken in this exact moment. I've probably ingested a pound of it, or a pound and a half in the last day.
Well, it's very good, so I respect that.
But you know, probably just like some great teriyaki chicken made by like my brother or something.
Oh,
Nick, I know what yours is though.
No, you don't actually.
I know it. Like, it's got to be pizza. You gotta have.
I'm not doing pizza. I'm not going there.
That you're just lying to yourself. Then.
No, I'm not. I actually have my answer, which is I would want like a huge bucket of raspberries. That's like literally my favorite food. Like that would just be just like wild raspberries. I don't know. That'd be like ridiculous. That'd be amazing. It'd be weird. The only thing is like pairing a drink with a bucket of raspberries. Is like,
what do you drink with that?
Smoothie made a raspberry smoothie.
Double up. That's more
raspberry.
That's too much. I'm gonna take some seltzer. I love seltzer.
Oh, wow. As you should. What's your favorite flavor?
I like this Trader Joe's one, but I have it over here. Wait, I'm gonna get it.
Okay. I love seltzer. It's amazing.
This is really good. Cranberry clementine.
Ooh, cranberry's good.
Yeah.
Clementine.
Is that the flavor you would pair with the raspberries, Nick?
I don't know. That's the only flavor I buy from Trader Joe's, so that's what I'd be getting.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Whichever one they've got left.
Maybe I would want a cocktail instead of my milkshake or something. I don't know.
Why not both?
If I'm about to die, I mean, I got to calm the nerves.
Yeah.
Maybe a martini, like a really heavy gin martini or something. Maybe I'm getting too specific on this scenario, but
actually,
I don't want to feel anything.
The vanilla rum. That vanilla rum you bought is actually quite good, I gotta say.
Oh yeah.
Lucas bought me a vanilla rum. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like alcohol, so like the taste of alcohol. So that one is actually good. I can actually do it.
All right.
Solid. All right.
Yeah.
So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
Mine is definitely pink. My hair is
Really?
normally pink too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great
I
color.
like this kind of like this pink, like this little kind of like girl pink, like basic girl kind of pink.
Wow.
Mhm.
It's like I don't know what this is called, but yeah. I
Like a
love it.
pastel.
Yeah, it's like this
soft
pastel
pink.
pink.
Yeah,
My hair
pastel.
is normally that color. My cell phone is that color. I have a jacket that color.
Mhm.
I love that color. I used to only do Instagram. Like if I wrote on my story, it was always that color pink. So It's my
Yeah.
favorite color for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Solid.
Wow. I learned something new about you today. I would do blue. Like I like blue. I like the ocean. I like the sky. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
Final
Amazing,
word of the
yeah.
podcast. Just cut it there. I like the ocean. I like the sky.
How are you gonna be blue? I mean, come on.
So before we wrap this up, I completely zoned out and skipped over Glory's question.
Oh, okay.
So
So technically,
Glory.
I have the last question. Not many people have said that this is the most important question, but if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
That's a good question. Lucas.
Probably Elysium, where all the. Have you seen this movie? It's really messed up. It's like all the rich people live in this idea. It's like kind of real life, but like all the rich people live in this like crazy, like perfect town above that like is above the surface of the earth. I saw, and it seems so great. It's just like everyone has eternal life and like everything is perfect and everything's super great. Like I guess it'd be a little sad to live in like the worst inequality possible.
Yeah.
Barring that, it's only 1 week. Like, how bad could I feel? So,
Is that the one with Brad Pitt?
it's someone like that, like Matt Damon or something.
Yeah, one of those. They're the same person.
Avatar
It's
seemed
fine.
pretty cool, but yeah, there's some pretty problematic things about that movie too. But it's also a good time, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be down to do what that guy did. Take, you know, the blue face. It'd be cool.
Blueface, baby.
It looked pretty fun. It looked beautiful.
Mhm.
You know, it's a beautiful realm.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay. I was thinking the Pokemon universe would be cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I don't know, it sounds cool to be like a Pokemon trainer for like a week.
Sounds stressful
Definitely.
though. It's a battle, dude.
I don't know, but it would be.
Absolutely.
But you don't have to battle. You could just be like one of the fishermen, you know.
it's true.
You want to be an NPC in the Pokemon universe.
The other one I was thinking was the Hollow Knight. Have you guys played that game?
We have friends that play it.
That is
Yeah.
really beautiful. I thought that would be cool. It's just a really beautiful. There's a lot of bugs though. I don't really know bugs, but
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
a deal breaker.
yeah, but you can stay above the spider area and then you're good. You know,
There you go.
Mhm.
just don't go down there.
Easy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
I don't
well,
know. Video game. I don't even play like that many video games. That's just the game in my mind.
That's valid.
Yeah.
So as Glory said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
You know, go listen to the albums. Album 1 and album 2 is coming soon. You know, Lucas, do you have anything you want to plug?
I really liked that movie you and I saw, Casa de Mi Padre.
That was good. Yeah, I like that.
That was a great
This
movie.
Will Smith movie where
Watch
he
this
only
Will
speaks
Smith
Spanish.
movie where he's speaking terrible Spanish.
He
the
can't
entire
speak
time.
Spanish.
No.
It's
Will,
a crazy.
no.
He's literally speaking Spanish the entire time.
Oh,
So
wait, what is it called again? I kind of want to see this now. I love Will Smith.
yeah, it's called Casa de Mi Padre, and it's weirdly like it's maybe like I don't know if it get made now. Maybe it's a little not PC. I've said this with too many things that I've said I like, but but it's weirdly artsy. It's kind of like a beautiful, like
Yeah.
almost Wes Anderson-y movie. It's strange.
Mhm.
I highly recommend that movie. So I'm
You know what
talking
movie we don't recommend? I think jointly is Seth Rogen's Pickle movie.
yeah.
What?
What was that movie called? The American Pickle by Seth Rogen.
American Pickle.
I
That movie
unplugged
was
that.
terrible.
Yeah.
Do not watch that. No one watch that movie.
Don't
I like
watch
Seth. I like Seth Rogen. Just don't watch that one.
Just don't.
But
watch
we're Dog Trainer. The album is Scrolling to Feel Better, Part 1.
it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Part 2 is coming later this summer. Follow us on Instagram at Dog Trainer Music. Follow us on YouTube, Dog Trainer Music. You got to put the music on YouTube because otherwise you just search Dog Trainer and you get a whole lot of not Dog Trainer music. So
a lot of podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Search some podcast. No, we don't have a podcast. That made it sound like.
So we'll be, this podcast.
This podcast. Plug in this podcast. So let's do it again.
Go watch this podcast.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with those guys. It's been Dog Trainer and We're the Good Noise podcast.